I went into the doctor, to the VA doctor, and she was just like, "Oh, hey, yeah, by the way, you got diabetes and high blood pressure." And for me, it was one of the first emotions, the primary emotion that I felt was fear, because my paternal grandfather had diabetes and didn't take care of it, didn't take care of himself, had to get his leg amputated because of not taking care of things. They be talking about these super long fasting, 30 days, and these 60 people doing these crazy fasts, getting these crazy results. And my A1C had, your diabetes is gone. What? I was just like, now again, I already knew this. I was feeling it.
This episode of the Good Living Now podcast is sponsored by our friends at Joy Mode. Now, after going through prostate cancer, I experienced erectile dysfunction, and I wanted a more natural way to support healthy circulations. Now, one of the things that has worked for me is Joy Mode, which gave me confidence during those intimate moments. Now, some users report that Joy Mode may even support healthy blood pressure trends. Now, if you'd like to learn more, visit tryjoymode.com and use my affiliate code Harold20 at checkout to save 20%. Welcome to the Good Living Now podcast, where we talk to real people about real change leading to real health. I'm your host, Harold LaFall, and today we're having a very important conversation with someone who lost 100 pounds and reversed type 2 diabetes as well as high blood pressure. Welcome to the show, Jonny. Hey, Jonny, how you doing, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. You know, when your brother told me about you and your story, I was like, okay, we got to have him on the show. So, man, 100 pounds you lost, you reversed type 2 diabetes, as well as high blood pressure. Now, let's go back a little bit. So growing up, were you always a heavier child, or did the weight come on later?
Actually, no, that not at all. It's funny because my brother, we make jokes about me being born with the six pack. So that was kind of like, that was my early experience. I never had any issues in that way. It was really after, when was it? After my jaunts in the military, that's when that kind of happened. And so, it wasn't something I was accustomed to, but I noticed as I got older that it was that natural athleticism or that natural physique that my brothers were jealous of just kind of started slipping away. And I didn't really know what that was or what to do about it. It's just, and really not even paying attention to it, because a lot of us, I don't feel like our parents don't make it a point to have health as like an important focus. So it's kind of you pick up on or don't as time goes on. And I think that's kind of how it was for me in the beginning, just not knowing and then slowly making the realizations as things started to go bad.
Yeah. So Jonny, were you aware that you were gaining weight, or did you just kind of look at them like, oh, wait a minute, we have a problem? Or did you feel yourself gaining the weight and noticing the changes?
So the good thing about being in the military is they're very strict about the whole weight and exercise thing. So early on, it wasn't a big deal because I'm a civilian. I'm going in. They're going to get me in shape, and then I'm just going to maintain it because that's what you do. And early on in that journey, I realized that I was There were moments where I was like, oh, I'm gaining or whatever. So I'm okay. I'm slouching. I'm slacking off maybe a little bit. I'm not eating the best, and then I just kind of refocus and continue on. But after I got out, I wasn't looking at the scale. I wasn't really paying attention. I got to a certain point where I wanted to be more into fitness and things. I want to lift weights and be strong and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's I'm looking at strong people and oh, you got to have the calories, you got to, eat, and then, you work out. So I'm doing all these things and I'm seeing varied results just through the years. But there was a moment where it shifted beyond I'm working out and I'm eating to gain muscle and to get swole, and it just went left. So to answer your question, if I've answered your question, I had an awareness to a degree, but I didn't really notice it when it got bad until it really got bad. So I mean, I was always kind of aware of it just because of my experience, but I wasn't really focused on it. So I guess it's kind of in between. It's a weird space.
And I can imagine if you had always been lean, like growing up, and weight wasn't like an issue, that it may have not been something that you really was paying attention to.
Right. And I never played sports. So I mean, although I did try in high school once, but I started doing the marching band, and then football went out the window. So I never played sports, and I never had that mindset of diet and activity, athleticism, and all these things, how they counteract. It was just a regular person and just doing my best, not really knowing that it would even be a factor. So.
And when did the type 2 diabetes come? And did the type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, they come like simultaneously? Because I know they're cousins. So normally, if you got high blood pressure, most people also have type 2 diabetes.
Okay. Yeah. So that, I definitely assumed that they came at the same time because, I mean, all these things, they just started hitting me at once. And it was 2015. I've been at the military at this point about 3 years. And I was finished with massage school, and, all these new wonderful things were kind of happening. And it was December, and I just started dating this woman, and it was just, oh my gosh, all these cool things, right? And I noticed that I was waking up multiple times throughout the night, and I was having to urinate. And it wasn't just, oh, I drank too much water right before bed, and I got up once to go pee. Like, no, it was 6-7 times of going to relieve myself in the middle of the night. And it came on very suddenly. So I'm not sure if they were there at the same time, but I wasn't aware of it.
Right.
Again, health wasn't a thing that was predominant in my family. It wasn't a focus. We didn't learn about it to any real degree, except for my grandmother, who would, she was dabbling, and this is kind of the beginning of her journey, but it wasn't something that was really that was present. And I know that they came on at the same time, but I don't know exactly when it all
Right.
It was probably brewing underneath the surface for a while though.
Wow. Yeah. And so what was like the turning point for you? What was like the moment that you said, you know what, I need to do something different?
Okay. Well, Harold, let me ask you this before I get, how real can I be?
Oh, very real.
Okay.
Oh, very real.
Okay. Because I just it's natural for me to be honest and to be, I just need to, and I know that I can be kind of long-winded as far as, because, details and that sort of thing. So I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So after the turning point was after, going to the restroom 7 times a night, and that kind of being a thing. And at this point in my journey, and my girlfriend at the time was just like, hey, you should go to the hospital and kind of see what's up. And, I was like, man, I ain't trying to do all that. I'm not trying to.
Right.
We tend to kind of shirk away from stuff. And I just wasn't with it. But she said, okay, you're a veteran, you can go to the VA. And I had the ability to get checked out and stuff and not have to worry about these crazy expenses. So, she helped me out with that a lot. And I was like, okay, you do it, I'll go. And I went into the doctor, to the VA doctor, and she was just like, oh, hey, yeah, by the way, you got diabetes and high blood pressure. And for me, it was one of the first emotions, the primary emotion that I felt was fear, because my paternal grandfather had diabetes and didn't take care of it, didn't take care of himself, had to get his leg amputated because of, not taking care of things. And it was just like, okay, so this was popping into my mind immediately when I get, oh, you've got diabetes. I'm thinking, oh crap, I'm screwed. Like you know what I mean? Because I'm thinking at this time that it's just something that happens to you. There's nothing you could do about it, And I'm in there with the doctor, and she's saying the only thing that she's saying is, okay, well, here's what we can do. I could throw these pills at you. You could take them as you transition into full blown diabetes. Because what she said was that I was pre-diabetic, because there's a scale with the A1C, and it's just a number that's, if you're below a certain number, you're technically pre-diabetic, and if you're above that number, then you're full blown. So It's just like, people, oh, you're pre-diabetic, so it's not that scary. Like, no. I was already symptomatic as a pre-diabetic. And there's people that are full-blown diabetic who they don't even have discernible symptoms, or maybe they're just so disconnected from the body that they can't tell or whatever. But for me, I knew, and I was already experiencing things. Again, one of them was having to urinate so many times. The other thing was my sexual function was in rapid decline. And I say that because as a man, at this time I'm 26 or 27 years old, and I go from just being completely fine to not being able to perform, and that whole deal, which again is an issue for anybody, and it shows your health, which is important, but especially being that young. And I'm just like, okay, I'm dealing with issues that men typically deal with in their much older, double my age at least. Yeah. But I'm in my 20s, my late 20s, and I'm already experiencing this, and it just seemed like out of nowhere. So for me, that was the turning point. And I'm so thankful for her, because I don't know how, I don't think I would have taken that much time to finally go if I wasn't with her or whatever, but it wouldn't have been immediately. And I could have extended this thing for even longer. So if you're with a young lady and she tells you to go, man, just go ahead, just get the information, just go and see, because when you have the knowledge, now you can take action. So to answer your question, the turning point was that moment in the doctor's office. I got diabetes, I got high blood pressure, I got all this extra weight on me. I'm experiencing these symptoms. My sexual function is terrible. And like I said, all these things happen very suddenly. And that's when I was like, okay, I don't know what to do, but we got to do something. So that was the beginning of it. Right. For me. Yeah.
And so I'm sure the doctors had pills for everything that they wanted to give you. And then did they give you pills for like the high blood pressure and the erectile dysfunction? Were they trying to give you those pills?
Honestly, at this point, well, let me see, because we're talking about 10 years at this point, but I don't think so. I think it was just the diabetes. And no, it was something else, maybe for the high blood pressure too. Because it's a while ago. Right. For the erectile dysfunction, I didn't mention that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't mention that, but but there was definitely a few things that she wanted me to get on the way out of the doctor's office, which I completely ignored, because I knew that even at that point, that I knew that being on prescription medicine for however long indefinitely that's not going to be the thing that helps me. Like I had years ago, I made a declaration. I just started saying, like, I don't get sick and I don't take medicine. And funny thing is, like, I didn't get sick. Like, this, to me, diabetes was something different. It's not like, oh, I got a cold. Right. But, it's like I didn't really have a whole lot of issue with, my health and as far as those other kind of ways. But so I was just like, well, I don't take medicine. So I'm looking at what's the other alternatives, right? What's the other alternatives to this?
Mm. And so when you left the doctors, what did you do next? Or what did you know to do?
The only thing that I knew to do at that time was to talk to my brother,
Mm-hmm.
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris and I, we had just moved to Texas in those last few years with some friends. And I went back to talk to my brother because I'm just like, I don't have anybody, I don't have a confidant. There's this, what we can do is talk and figure this thing out. And he was just like, hey, man, I know this is scary. I know that this is, what I'm saying? We've got experience with this as far as, in our family, in our history,
Right.
but we're going to figure this out. And I was just like, all right, man, we're going to figure this out. I was still scared, but
Mm-hmm.
having my brother to at least bounce ideas off of and stuff, that was helpful in the beginning. But that's what it was at first.
Yeah.
I told him about what it is, and we just kind of slowly but surely kind of went to work.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that happened early, I believe, was finding different. We start, when you need something, you start looking at life differently. So, like, I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm not taking pharmaceuticals to fix this issue, or I'm not doing the traditional method because that stuff doesn't work. Because if it did work, then my dad and my grandfather wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
still be diabetic if it did. So it's
Right.
like, I know these things don't work because I've been seeing for the last decade that they don't work.
Yeah.
So at that point, you start looking, or you start seeing life differently, and then things start coming to your awareness that maybe you didn't pay attention to before.
Mm-hmm.
Other companies that deal with like health, and they purport certain effects, like, okay, oh, we can knock out this, we can knock out that,
Mm-hmm.
and really it was just kind of the beginning of doing research, getting
Mm-hmm.
online, looking at. I mean, YouTube is a great source as far as learning stuff from people, because you have people that just get on and share their experience, and then
Right.
if it resonates with you, you're like, okay, let me test that out for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type of person that when the stuff is hitting the fan and I don't have the answer, I'm willing to
Mm-hmm.
listen to someone else, because maybe their method will help me, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll only know that if I test it out. So
Right.
so that's what we did. It was finding stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
really just kind of coming upon it, discovering it, and say, okay, well, let's try. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the beginning of the of the
The
journey.
journey. The journey.
Yeah.
So you were open and you started getting new information, and then what did you start doing differently?
Okay. So one thing was this health company. I ain't gonna plug or whatever. I don't want to say the
Oh
name.
no, it's no. You said no. We've had Chris on the show. It's what is it? That a healthy alternative.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
well, that's still forthcoming in the story a little bit.
yeah. Okay, okay,
But there was another company
okay.
that had some products and stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see. So
Yeah,
when you're trying something new, you got to give it time. And
right.
essentially, what happened was I was using some of these products. They seemed to help for sure, and to a certain degree, but the diabetes part wasn't going away. And I would go back to the doctor, and she said, well, it didn't progress, but it's not getting better. So it's kind of like a stopgap. It's like, as
Oh,
long as I'm
gotcha.
taking this, maybe it won't get worse, but it's not getting
Mhm.
better. And if it's not getting better, that means I'm still in the positions that I was in when I started, and therefore it's not good enough. Like, I need something that's going
Mhm.
to decrease the sugar.
Right.
And I did that for, shoot, man, 3 months, 5, 6 months, maybe,
Mhm.
all together. And so, it wasn't the best. But one of the other things was, I think, and this was really what started it, was learning about a man named Alfredo Bowman, aka Dr. Sebi. And
Mm.
Dr. Sebi he was the guy that had information that not only seemed legitimate, but he he had an air about him, almost an arrogance. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just like, I know what I know, and I know what I've seen, and I know what I've done. And it's just like, okay, let's see what Sabi's talking about. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it and I learned about, herbs and using different herbs and adjusting food and that sort of thing to get certain results. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I got Sabi herbs and I was trying stuff, and it began to help. And I was like, okay, this is actually beginning to help me. But one of the other things that Sabi talked about was fasting, which it's not something that I was accustomed to. I knew about it, and I had done it, I think, one other time in my life for like a singular day, but it was very challenging. Oh, it's actually when I was in Korea, when I was still in the military, and I was just like, oh my gosh, but I did it. But I didn't know about it to any real degree, with any depth. Just something that let me try this out and kind of help me at that time, and it did help me. But I didn't really practice it with any real effects until this time learning about Dr. Sabi. And so he got the Sabi products, got the Sabi herbs, and things started to feel better. But then when I learned about fasting, and he's telling stories about his mother and healing this person and Left Eye from TLC and all this stuff, I'm just like, okay. And they're doing these fasts and they're getting these incredible results. So I was like, well, and Chris said, hey man, you could come up, you could hit this fast. And he's got pictures like, look at this dude, he did this fast, and you probably look like that if once you get around this weight. And now we're getting excited because it seems like there's something that's real, that can really, we can sink our teeth into, right, to actually get the results that I'm wanting, that I'm needing. So it started with Dr. Sabi, and I'm going to work and I'm taking the herbs, and I'm doing these fasts, and at first it was like, okay, this is hard, but I'm getting to it, right? I'm getting to it.
And was the fast, Jonny, was it water fast, dry fast? You said, what kind of fasting were you doing?
So I think the very first time I did it, it was a juice fast. So water and juice. And because I just remember being at work and I had some little juice to buy to kind of get me through, because I'm just like, right, this is testing me. But I had some juice to kind of get me through. And so when it very, very first started, it was very particular. It was, just I'm taking these herbs and I'm having some juice and I'm just trying to get through the day. Then I would stop. So then at a certain point, I think Chris had already started the channel, but when you go look at the old videos, there's a lot of different stuff, trying to figure things out, right? Trying to figure things out. But then it's just like, okay, Sabi's talking about these super long fasting, 30 days, and these 60 people doing these crazy fasts, getting these crazy results. And it's just like, well, let me see what happens when I really put my foot in it. And so we do our fast. I know we did a lot of fasts together in the beginning times, a lot. Now at this time now, I'm like, okay, we're going to do water only. And so me and Chris are doing our fast together. For him for different reasons, but me because I'm working on this, getting rid of this diabetes thing and this high blood pressure. And we start, and it's not that bad at certain times, but then there's a lot going on in the body, a lot of healing taking place. And I remember at nighttime, I'm in the bed, I got school or whatever in the morning, and I'm wired, and I'm laying down under the covers, and my heart is pumping like, I would say 100 beats, 105 beats while I'm in a restful position. And it's because the body is starting to go through this process of releasing. And when it's happening like that, your metabolism is kicking in stronger because the blood flow's moving, things are moving. I mean, there's a lot happening, a lot of readjustment happening. And I'm just like, okay, wow, that's new. If I'm running, if I'm exercising, I expect my heart to be kind of pounding like this, but not not laying down in the bed.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? Which I know people might get afraid of that when they first feel like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, something's wrong. But for me, for Chris, it's like even in this early stage, we knew better. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I'm doing different is this fast. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that's changed. So it's not that this fast is bad for me. There's processes happening in my body that I don't consciously understand, but my body's intelligence is brilliant, genius level, and
Mm-hmm.
I trust my body. So
And you know what, Johnny, I think a lot of people, when they do something like a fast and they start experiencing changes like that, the heart palpitation or just changes in their body, it scares them. And many times when they start feeling that, they'll typically stop it and go back to what they were doing because like they don't know that is sometimes symptomatic of the body healing. Sometimes people call it a healing crisis where the
yeah.
body's, yeah, yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, that's the part that dissuades people from continuing because they start feeling the body react and move in a certain way. And I always find it so strange that when your body starts doing stuff, that your response is, oh, if I'm on a fast, like, oh, well, something's wrong. I got to eat so I can calm this down, or I got to take something so I can stop this from happening. And I'm just like, why are you wanting to stop the new thing that's happening that's really born from the new action that you're taking? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always got. And
Right.
if what you currently have is something that you don't want, why are you stopping the new thing that's shifting things around? It's like that story that Dr. Sabi told about, I can't remember his name, but he's a famous singer, and I think he was getting paralyzed or something. He had all this inflammation, just riddled with inflammation, and he couldn't feel stuff anymore. And Sabi had him fasting and everything. And then the guy was saying how, like, oh, well, I'm feeling pain in my legs now. You got me doing this. I'm feeling pain in my legs. So I'm saying, wait a minute. So you're feeling something in your legs that you couldn't feel before, and you're somehow upset about this, that you're going to stop doing the process now. I'm just like, the pain is the signal that, hey, usually when you feel pain, hey, something's wrong, come check it out. But in that case, the pain is reestablishing connection.
Mm-hmm.
If you had continued on, who knows how long it would have been before maybe you start wiggling your toes again. And you know what I mean? So
Right,
it's just
right.
like, when stuff happens, people live in fear and they
Mm-hmm.
miss out on what's on the other side of that fear. It's just like, you can't let fear stop you from doing the thing that's making a difference and then
Yeah.
go back to the same old stuff like the pharmaceuticals, because you know the kind of results that you're going to get if you continue down that path. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you and Chris started doing your fast, did you guys have a particular goal in mind in terms of days? Were you just going to do like a 10-day fast, 5-day, or were you just fasting and just figuring out as you went along?
So it's funny you say that, because Chris, he did want to. I distinctly remember him wanting to do, hey man, let's do it. He kept saying, let's do a 14. Let's do 14. And I'm just like, 14, that seems like a lot for the first time. This whole world is new to both of us, but he had that gusto. And I'm just like, we'll see. I can't promise. He kept trying to sell me on doing 14, or maybe it was even more than that. It might, but it was just like, look, let's just see what we can do. So I think on the first one, he definitely went a good stretch on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he talked about it. I want to say it was like he ended up doing like 13 or 14 days consecutively, then had some shifting. For me, I believe I did a week the first time. Because I was just like, okay, let me just see what I can do, what feels good. And at first, I was like, okay, 5 days. I'll do 5 days. I'll start on Monday. I'll fast all the way till Friday. Well, technically Saturday morning. And then I'll have, I break my fast and I have my meal on Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And, that'll be the thing. And what happened was I started doing that, but it became routine. And it was a schedule that I was just like, okay, I like this. I do 5 days on Monday through Friday, and I do 2 days off on the weekend. And that became my tool. I call it the 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
It's the protocol that I've used since the beginning of this, back in 2016, like the 5-2. And that was the protocol that I used to get rid of the diabetes, was the 5-2 water fasting protocol, you could say. Yeah.
Why? And so just water only for 5 days, and then you ate on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And how long did it take you to start to lose the weight and to reverse the diabetes?
So it, Harold, it was amazing because it was instantaneous as far as the weight loss. It was so fast that it was kind of unreal. It was kind of like, there's no way this works that good. Because at this time, I had a little experience with like exercise and stuff. I started learning when I was in the military, and diet and all these things. So I'm learning about typical time frame for losing weight and that sort of thing. So I'm like, okay, my expectations were one thing, but the result was totally different and so much better, because it was just pure water. And that first day, when I got on the scale the next day just to see what had happened, I dropped 2 pounds. And I was just like, wait a minute, 2 pounds? Now it's one thing to lose 2 pounds in a week or so because you're eating every day, and it's hey, that's good. You lost 2 pounds this week, and that means I can extrapolate out, so I might lose 8 pounds this month or something, and then I might lose X amount this year. But to lose it in a day is kind of, I'm just like, this is unheard of, I guess. So after that first week, and I'm down like 10 pounds or so.
Wow.
I'm blown away, because these numbers are typical for people that are doing this for maybe a month or maybe even longer, not 5 days, right? So, and that's kind of how it was. So the weight loss was instant. I noticed I'm starting the next day. I got on the scale, and it was a joy to get on the scale every morning, because I start to learn that when I get on that scale in the morning, it's going to be 2 pounds negative. And I'm just like, so now I'm thinking like, okay, so by this time I should be, and I could be on the beach, and I'm those thoughts start running through my mind.
Right.
So after doing this for a month, I don't have any paperwork yet, but I feel the shift in my body. I feel it internally. I feel the shift. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel the shift. And I was excited to go back because I had a doctor's appointment. So after that first month, I'm just like, okay, I think I'm good. I don't think I have diabetes anymore at this point in 30 days. I didn't have the proof at that time yet. I knew I had a doctor's appointment in another 30 days. So I continued on like I was doing. And after that 2 months, I had dropped 50 pounds, which was like, I was like, okay. Because now, mind you, in my experience, when I was in Korea, 6 years prior to this, I had lost some weight, and I lost 50 pounds, but it took me it was like 10 months. And this was by me exercising, eating a certain way, being strict, and that sort of thing. It took me 10 months. So I had a little bit of context, a little background as far as like how long it should take for this process to take place. And within that first month, the first 2 months, I dropped 50 pounds. And I'm just like, yo, okay, we on to something.
And was that without were you exercising, or that was completely just, okay.
I did no exercise. And I actually did that on purpose. I'm like, because I want to know, does this process work, in despite of anything else? Will this process do the thing that I'm looking for it to do? So I didn't work out purposely. I didn't, because I would go to the gym. That was something that I enjoyed. Yeah. But I was just like, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to fast, go to class, whatever, and that's going to be it. So I went back to the doctor. By this time, I'm down 50 pounds. Yeah. I'm just like, I know the doctor saw me last time. She had a certain image of me in her mind already. So I couldn't
Right.
wait to strut up in the VA. I'll tell you, when I strutted, okay, up in the VA, I got on that little scale they got. And I think that however they have it set up, you know, they can see very quickly about what your weight was, what it is now. And she, you know, people do like a double take. This lady did like a 50. She's just like, what is how did you, wait a minute. You just dropped all this weight. And I'm just like, yeah, man, I'm good. She, you know, did the blood work and all that stuff. And my A1C had, your diabetes is gone. What? I was just like, now again, I already knew this. I already knew this because I was feeling it, you know, at the end of month one. But, you know, just for the sake of the argument, I'll say it took me 2 months. It took me 2 months to get the official and get the paperwork.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, did you lose an additional 50 pounds?
I did.
Wow.
I did. So now at this point, I feel a lot better. Now that I've gotten rid of the high blood pressure and the diabetes, I was like, okay, I still want to lose more, but I did want to start working out again because obviously, like I said, that's something that I enjoy. It you know, it helps me feel good and stuff. And so at this point, I started training again. And I think over the course of the next, 5 months, 6 months? Yeah, I think 6 months, I lost another 50. Now, I was lifting weights and fasting still, but I was also eating more too. So there would be times where I wasn't fasting because it's like, you know, I'm eating whatever. I'm not gaining weight. So it was all good. I may kind of be at the same place, but you know, it's okay because I know the secret code now. And so that's what I did. So I was working out and I was, you know, having my food again. I was still fasting and I was, you know, kind of slowly losing, but it was all good because I'm diabetes free. Things are looking up. I'm gaining muscle. And I just kept on that. And then it got to a certain point where it's just like, all right, man, I'm trying to get my 6-pack back. Let me lock in and kind of finish that up. And then and you know, whenever it was, I think it was for my birthday. I was like, I want to make sure I'm at a certain weight, just so I can say I lost 100 pounds and all that stuff. And that's when I kind of finished that out and hit that mark officially.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. So now, what do you do to maintain that weight loss in your health? Are you still fasting regularly? Is that still?
I actually do. And this is kind of the thing because, you know, we call them health journeys because it is a journey. And although this was a really important beginning for me, and it was one of the things that put AHA, because I was like the original poster boy for AHA. Hey, look, you can lose 100 pounds and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's good, right? Because that motivates people.
Right.
But for me, like, I was unaware of how much underlying, let's say, trauma or baggage, energetic baggage that I was carrying. Because I just, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm the type of person that mentally, I don't feel stress in my mind. I don't get stressed. I don't have a whole bunch of things. I got to do this. I got to do that. But, you know, I don't get stressed like that. I noticed it in high school. And I would look at my classmates and everybody's so stressed. I'm like, why are y'all so stressed about this stuff? But what I didn't know is that I carry the stress in my body. So it's kind of it's unconscious. I'm not consciously aware of it. I just thought I was a carefree person, and I am, but my body still carries stress in that way. So I'm not consciously aware of it. And this was the beginning of a long journey for me because I noticed early on that I had to keep fasting to a certain degree in order to maintain. Because if I didn't fast for, you know, an extended period of time, then I would gain weight back. It wasn't like immediate, but it was just over time. Just, you know, through the weeks, I might gain, you know, 10 pounds. And then a couple months go by, I might have gained 15 pounds. I'm just like, man, okay, I'm only up, you know, 15 pounds or so, but based on my diet, should I have gained this much that quick? So I had to keep fasting to kind of, and And that's been a thing because over time that has gotten worse for me because again, what I didn't realize was emotionally the kind of stuff that I was holding on to. And yes, emotions aren't food, but your body still carries them. And when you have a lot of emotions or negative stuff kind of underneath the surface, that stuff does affect you. And it is not always about the food. And that's the thing that's really trippy because for years, this was, let's see, 2016, for at this point, maybe 5, 6 years, maybe even a little bit longer, I'm like, this can't be. Like, why do I have to? And it's like, I didn't mind doing the fasting. It became that for that first couple of years, I fasted so much. It was just my lifestyle. That first year, after I lost all that weight, and I started working out and stuff, because I started working out while I was fasting, because that was just one of those things that I can do everything that I do normally while I'm fasting. Like I don't have to change anything. So that first year, I probably fasted 8 months out of the 12 months. I was probably not eating. And just because of how regular it was for me. I have my little 2 days on the weekend and then I'm back to it. So for a while I didn't notice, but when I slowed down or just when I had those times where I wasn't fasting, I'm like, man, I'm just, I'm picking up. So that's been a thing. And, all this time, and as things have gotten worse and I've dealt with other stuff like heartbreak in like these emotional things. And that's when I really noticed it got bad, like very suddenly. I mean, that's a whole different story. But so to maintain, this is like, yeah, I was fasting kind of regularly, but I didn't always want to because, hey, food is good. Food, it tastes good. It's enjoyable. I don't necessarily want to always do it. It was kind of a necessity at first. Then it became a different type of necessity later. So in short, I did continue to maintain, but there's a lot there as well. And there's a lot to unpack. I don't know how much time we have, but yeah.
So, Jonny, what do you wish that more people knew about fasting and health and healing?
I would say that they are intrinsically linked. There's a lot of power in fasting because our bodies we have a certain amount of energy every day. And if your body is utilizing a majority of that energy on food digestion, for example, and we're talking like 80 up to 80%, then that only leaves a small amount of energy for healing and recovery and that sort of thing. So they're intrinsically linked together, the health and the healing, that sort of thing. It is not a dangerous thing when you understand what you're doing. And it is not that complicated if you learn. Our bodies are electrical, and things like mucus and inflammation dull or block the ability to send that electricity through our nerves and stuff, and it slows down the process, and the signal maybe can't reach when it gets to a certain point. So you want to be lean on the inside. You want that to be clean so you can actually send signals and do that stuff. But you have to learn that the pharmaceuticals, the way that they're designed, they just like how fasting is to get rid of inflammation. A lot of these pharmaceuticals will give you inflammation. A lot of the things will give you inflammation. It might mask the symptom of something, but it's not a root cause fix. You need something to get in there and clean. When you clean all that stuff out, all the gunk out, your body wants to maintain homeostasis. So it will just maintain itself, but you have to give it that opportunity to do it. And putting more stuff on or more stuff in is not always, rarely the answer. Like, for example, you mentioned healing crisis earlier, and I was experiencing one recently because I'm going through this new process where I'm kind of releasing a lot of that stuff, the emotional stuff that I mentioned, previously. And I'm learning, wow, but I'm releasing, and I got this little rash on my arm that was a lot worse not too long ago. And I know, oh, this is happening because I'm doing all this releasing. It's coming out. And I don't need to go put a cream on it to make the rash go down. No, it's coming out of my skin because it needs to get out of my body. I don't need to shut the mechanism down. I need to let it go run its course. And it's been healing over the last few weeks. It's gotten a lot better. It happened on my left side too, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I know that the arms, the elbows are these energetic. There are these points, just like on a river, and it can get stuck. It can get stuck right here. So you got to take your time. But you have to give your body the space, the room. You have to create the environment that will allow for the healing to take place. It's not about necessarily putting more stuff in. Like, that's kind of the problem, is we put all this stuff in. So there's power in letting things be. And I think that's fasting is the let it be, and and your body will show you what it can do.
That's so true. So Jonny, if folks wanted to get in contact with you, because you also coach folks on health and healing, how can they get in contact with you?
So we've got I think I put the link, or the information on there. We have AHA communities, where you can come on to AHA communities and you can talk to any of the coaches. You can talk to me. I talk about different type of stuff, the energy and all that stuff. That's my realm. And you can come on AHA communities and you can hit me up on there. I do have an Instagram. I don't be on it, but AHA communities, I'm on there.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, man, thank you so much for, just your light and sharing your journey. You're really going to help a lot of people, because a lot of people are going through exactly what you went through, and they don't know what to do. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, if y'all you have to be willing to do something different. Got to be willing to look at life a little bit different. We weren't taught we weren't really given the keys to the kingdom when it comes to health, because there's an understanding that if you heal people, then you can't make that much money off of them. But if you give them a little bit of relief, they'll keep coming back as customers. So it's not in the industry's best interest to heal you or to teach you how to heal yourself. And if you're leaning on that, then it might be time to take a second look, because the healing is a lot simpler than you think, and it really don't cost that much for you to do it. So if you're looking for real healing, if you're looking for alternatives, healthy alternatives, you could come on by. Come on by. There's a bunch of videos on the YouTube. There's a bunch of stuff that you can look at. Come to AHA communities, and we'll see about you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And thank you. You're so right. Healing is a lot simpler than we think. It's a lot simpler than we think. All right, Jonny, man, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you, man.